in most of North America, they absolutely do.
I kind of feel like I would like my cheese pasteurized.
Well, most cheese is, but some specialty cheeses, like maybe certain blue cheeses and stuff, aren't necessarily pasteurized.
Like goat cheese may not.
Maybe.
Oh, all right. Made me think twice about it.
I don't feel uncomfortable because it's not pasteurized. I feel like it's more pure.
Yeah, but it was something that comes out of an udder. I
That's all milk and cheese, Matthew.
Yeah, but I want it all to be pasteurized.
Okay.
I want to go through some work before it gets into my body.
All right, Matthew. We're not going to rate these burgers just yet.
Oh, no.
And we're going to save that for the very end of this episode.
Okay.
But before that, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
One of them I learned just recently that apparently IQ tests, the results of IQ tests have been skyrocketing since they've been around. As early as the 1930s, compared to now, the average American's IQ was low enough that if we saw that IQ now, you would assume that they had some sort of mental deficiency. And IQ tests aren't knowledge-based. I understand that maybe literacy rates were lower, and so they might not score as well on an IQ test, but they're more pattern recognition-based and logic-based.
Okay, like when you do an online IQ test, is that kind of what an IQ test is? It
is very similar, yes.
Problem solving?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Matthew, this leads me to the question, if you could travel to the 1930s, how would you bamboozle a farmer in Idaho? Would you just be like, well, here's an apple. Let me trade you for your house.
I feel like I've seen enough movies to know that people in the 30s would not just trade like farmers especially. A farmer knows the value of an apple.
That's right.
Like that seems like the bad way to go.
Okay.
I've definitely if it's in Idaho, I definitely try to get a couple of his MVPs, figure out how to most valuable potatoes. Just
okay, all right.
Figure out how to get like some of those like real good. We're Idaho potatoes, they're the best potatoes. Other than short of Yukon Golds, they're the best potato.
What about russets?
Russets,
it's an average, just a regular run-of-the-mill potato.
Russets is like, it's like Coleman. Like Coleman used to be a good name, but then they started manufacturing them in China, like for camping equipment.
Oh God, you need to clarify. Coleman used to be a good name. Like, is it not anymore?
No, now I'm talking about the russets. It's I don't know. I don't know if russet was a family. I don't really know much about russet, but I know that their quality of potato has declined.
Okay.
Of late. And if I can get my hands on a Yukon Gold.
But we're talking the 30s. Maybe this was the golden age of the russet potato.
Maybe. I don't know if I'd want to like necessarily dupe somebody, especially a farmer. Like I would try to dupe maybe a businessman.
Okay, so it's the 30s. You can travel anywhere. Let's start you in Idaho, just for fun.
That's just how time travel works? You start in a farm
you land in freaking Idaho.
Okay.
So you got to make your way out to one of the coasts. You're going to New York or California to try and dupe some businessman.
Okay.
How are you getting there? What are you doing?
Well, it seems like I would have to show them a series of shapes and different problem-solving skills and say, hey, can you solve this? If not, I want all your money. How would I use
I'm just
IQ
saying
tests?
Odds are you're much cleverer than any of these individuals.
Well, I guess I could use my knowledge of the future then. Mm-hmm. Correct. So couldn't I just sing like a Justin Timberlake song and then that businessman would be like, I've never heard anything like that before. Here's all my money.
Do you think that would be like Justin Timberlake would be a hit in the 30s?
I think so. I think
in a ragtime?
Definitely.
Like
bringing sexy back.
Yeah.
Be, I don't know, many other songs.
Like instead of like going to inventors and being like, let me sell you my idea for this amazing new product. Here's how it would work vaguely. Yeah. You can figure out the difference, and then I'll sell or just start patenting things full time.
Well, yeah. Ideally, I wouldn't screw over any person individually. I would just start taking out patents,
beating everyone to the punch.
Yeah, I'd definitely take an almanac back if
oh yeah.
Back
no,
to the Future
you don't get
Part
to bring
2 has told me
all
anything.
you get to bring back are the clothes on your back
And my knowledge of things?
But yeah, you know, everything in your body, like your knowledge or your spleen.
So I would spend a month memorizing an almanac.
Okay.
And then I would go back and just, I don't know, win
Just
some
start
sort of
just start
lottery.
gambling on the ponies.
Yeah. Could I take money back? I
No.
can't take money back.
No.
Clothes on my back, but nothing in the pockets?
No.
Ridiculous. Could I somehow bury something and have it be there? Like
No, you're
100
going
years
back
earlier?
in time. You'll just appear 100 years before you buried it.
Yeah, but isn't time just cyclical?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be there again?
Like a year is a cycle, but doesn't necessarily go right back.
Maybe I couldn't fool a farmer out of his potatoes. I go down there spewing all my knowledge of the future, and he's like, "No, I'm pretty
I
sure
mean,
it's still not how it
You
works."
could have at least sold yourself a little better. Like, I'd go to New York and be a radio man. And
But
then,
why
like,
would I be going to New
when
York?
when the television revolution starts coming along, you'd be like, "Oh, this television thing, it's going to be a real hit."
But that doesn't set me apart from anybody else who's doing the exact same thing back there. There were lots of people being like, "I'm going to be a radio man." And it's like, well,
But you would maybe be better at it because you'd have the knowledge of future radio.
but I wouldn't have one of those old timey voices. I would
I'm
have
sure
a
you
regular.
could. Give it a shot.
No, I would have a regular, like we just kind of did. It's like, I'm going to be a radio man.
There you go.
But there'd be people who already have
Who
those voices.
just speak that way.
Yeah, like I feel like if I went back in time, I think I might hear everything with like a lower audio quality, because that's how I've heard anything. From
Yeah,
that time.
sure.
And that is such a warmer sound. Like I don't know what Walter Cronkite might have sounded like in today's time.
In HD,
Yeah, I don't want to. Does it really change the way you sound?
I don't think so.
But yeah, I don't want to hear him like Dolby Atmos. I don't want to hear Walter Cronkite recorded with premium microphones. People just had a different sound to them back then. I feel like I would go back there with so much. I'd be too cocky going back in time.
You could
And then I
just go
wouldn't
back in
actually
time and
have
like
anything.
create every game show.
That's a lot of work, though. It's like the people that
You'd
created
be the Merv Griffin from the future, where you're saying, was it Merv Griffin? Is it Merv Griffin?
Merv Griffin is a guy, yeah.
Who produces like, well, he's dead now, but like, isn't it companies that does like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or whatever?
Maybe. But like if I went back in time and I said I have an idea for this wheel you spin, and if it lands on a certain amount of money, then they can get all how Wheel of Fortune works.
I'm not sure if you do, but go
like,
on.
Well, they spin the wheel,
Yeah.
it lands on a certain amount of money, and
Yeah.
then if they get a letter, they get
Okay.
all that money.
It's a spelling game.
It is a spelling game. Yes.
You're really selling it. It's a spelling game, but you're really just talking about the wheel.
The wheel's the biggest part of Wheel of Fortune. It's the money in the wheel.
It is the money in the wheel. Okay.
The spelling comes second.
Well.
But it's like I think it takes more than just a pitch.
I suppose.
It's got to take something. Like
Mind you, television doesn't exist yet in the 30s, so you got to wait a bit for Wheel of Fortune.
Game shows probably didn't do very well
You could probably do still Jeopardy before television.
on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many other things that would take a lot less effort to get off the ground.
Just straight gambling.
Yeah, just straight gambling, just cheating the system, like knowing who wins a horse race
Yeah.
and getting that money, and then I'm done. And then why do I need to steal other people's creations?
Well, now, Matthew,
What kind of horrible butterfly effect am I going to do if I take Bob Barker's job?
part of me is curious why you're traveling back in time and you're not, and you're memorizing like horse races instead of studying history.
Why would I study history?
Then you could like bet on every presidential race and know the way the world is going to play out before everyone else does.
Yeah, but that's what crazy people do. Crazy people run around talking about the future. How do you win money on a presidency?
You can bet on anything, Matthew.
Yeah, but it's so much easier. Like you got to find the right. How do you bet on who's going to be the president? Couldn't I just go down to the racetrack and
Now
bet
imagine,
on a horse?
Yeah, I'm sure, but imagine if you're like,
It's
I
the
bet
30s.
you $1,000 that in 2 years from now this person will be the president. People will be like, "That's nuts! I'll take that bet."
Okay. Would it ever be nuts? Maybe like Jimmy Carter.
Sure,
Would
yeah.
have been like the craziest bet.
Well, 2 years out, like 2 years before Obama became president, no one knew who he was.
But he's still a politician.
Sure,
Like, I mean, Donald Trump would be the,
that would be the moneymaker.
I don't know.
Right
I gotta
there.
go back to the 30s to make
Yeah.
that one.
yeah. All right, Matthew.
Well, what about you? What would you do?
I feel like I mentioned a few of the things I would do.
Yeah. Okay. What's the one thing that you would definitely do to get money? And you only have 24 hours. I'm putting that stipulation.
24 hours.
You got 24 hours. And you
Oof.
can't take anything back with you.
No, that's right. Except my knowledge.
Your knowledge. So, no, but you can't take anything back with you. And then when you get sucked back to the present.
Oh,
you
I
still
didn't think
can't
I
have
was
anything
coming back. I thought I was living my
You're gonna
life as a
live there?
rich man in the 30s.
I don't know. You would die a lot younger, though. You'd get some kind of.
I wouldn't necessarily die younger, but I would die sooner.
You would die earlier on in the world's age.
Timeline of history.
But I also feel like there's a lot of diseases. Like you might just get, I don't know.
I just travel to the 30s and
measles or
immediately
something.
get polio.
Yeah,
Damn it, no.
that's how they get you.
No, I think I'd, first things first, probably hop a train to New York City.
You just hop a train.
In the 30s, I feel like you could hop a train.
Yeah, you get a lot of bad things happen to people on trains, and then you might get thrown off.
I could get thrown off, but I could also be in league with the hobos on the trains
So you're
and
your
prophesize to them from the future.
Big, your big money making idea is to go back in time and then live amongst the hobos and tell them that you know things of the future.
Do you think I could prove any of them?
I don't think so, because you would only have your knowledge of the future.
Yeah, it doesn't prove
and
anything.
That just sounds crazy.
I suppose that's true.
What kind of things would you try to convince them of? What would they care
Television eventually existing.
about? Yeah, but
It could be like, the radio. Eventually. In about 20 years.
it's like, well, we
You'll
can't
be able
afford.
to see pictures.
They can't afford radios.
20 years? Who cares 20 years? Oh, shoot. There's going to be a war in 15. And they're like, well, that's 15 years ago. You're still not doing anything for me.
Like, how does the future help out the hobo? Tell them that.
Oh, boy. Well, I could gamble with them. Start gambling on World Series or whatever.
Okay, I'm saying, yeah, I guess so. But I'm saying, like, for a hobo, life is pretty much the same for hobos throughout the years, throughout the generations.
Well, they don't wear barrels anymore.
No, some.
I feel like a barrel is more expensive than clothes nowadays.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a turtle shell. You get to live in there.
Did they?
Tuck your head in. No,
I
well, you
suppose.
didn't, but in a
You just get a
cartoon
lid
world,
and you're pretty much good to go.
I suppose.
So, Matthew, we both seem to have enjoyed this burger quite a bit.
Yep.
Are you ready to rate your burger?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think I am as well.
Oh, it's gonna feel weird rating a burger higher than a 5.
Yeah, it's been a while that we haven't had any good burgers.
Yeah.
The last half decent one was the keg, and that was maybe late November.
No, what a disappointment. I don't know.
Oy, oy.
I don't know what I gave the Kegs burger, but I definitely want to give this a higher rating.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it an 8. I'm dancing around an 8.5.
Yeah, I think I'm giving this burger an 8.5. The toppings were not what I would have put on the burger, but very enjoyable. It wasn't a messy burger. I feel like maybe in their planning of this new restaurant, maybe in the planning of this burger, they knew what Matthew likes and dislikes. The bun, not oily.
No.
The burger, not drippy. The patty, not burnt.
Yeah.
Although you're not a fan of spiciness per se, it wasn't especially spicy. It just had a nice little kick to it.
Yeah, and it was just a little extra, and it was sweet.
Yeah, a little sweet, spicy combo.
Before you finish, I'm jumping up to an 8.5. There's things that I've realized about it as you were speaking, so continue.
All that cheese really held everything together.
Yeah.
The burger patty was thick, but not too thick. Just the burger itself, like you mentioned, it was not a huge burger. It was a very small, restrained burger.
Yeah.
And looking at it, like the shape of the bun reminded me of like a McDonald's burger. It was bigger than that.
Yeah.
But it had that sort of nice golden color and perfect form. I'm giving this burger an 8.5. It was a dang good burger. I don't know if we've rated anything high. I don't know if we've given any 9s. I feel like maybe one place has gotten a 9.
One thing might have done something so crazy, and it just paid off, and it got a 9. But I can't think.
But
of
as
it.
far as like just a high quality burger, this is up there with. It's in rarefied air.
Yeah.
Up there with Grinder and Hashwall as some of the best burgers we've had to date.
Yeah. I think if there was some sort of sauce to this burger, like a special sauce that I couldn't figure out what it was, and not necessarily a dipping sauce, but just something inside, that might have bumped it up to a 9. But I don't know what that sauce would be.
See, like that's it. Honestly, I don't know what this burger could have done any better, which seems like I should give it a higher rating.
Yeah, but we know there's got to be.
There's an X factor that
Yeah.
needs that